At 5 in the morning of July the 7th, 1986, 2 young Australians convicted of drug trafficking were hanged in Kuala Lumpur. Abroad, these executions of Westerners were condemned as acts of barbarism. But in Malaysia, the war against drugs is being fought out day by day. For the first time, the Malaysian authorities have allowed a crew to film at the heart of this war. In return, they asked for a chance to state their case. The case, that is, for scenes like this. In the past, there had been ganja in Malaysia, cannabis, and opium, smoked by a few old men under government control. Today, heroin from Thailand and the Golden Triangle is the drug of choice. Tens of thousands of addicts are spread across the country. Young people, the government says, who are the future of this nation. By the early 80s, nearly 100,000 addicts had been identified out of a population of only 15 million. Many put the real figure much higher. In 1983, the government declared the spread of drugs to be the main threat to national security. The crackdown began in earnest.
Rakit. Semua standby sebab saya nak pakai set dalam masa 2 minit pada sekarang apa.
Oscar, we are in position and we are moving into the area with all the personnel. Moment these addicts around the area, so we have to split our men.
Saya sampai aja. Saya akan masuk bersama tim Hasan, Musa akan masuk bersama tim dia. Saya akan bagi tahu dalam chat. Kita terus bertindak. Okey, faham ah? Okey, mari kita masuk jalan. Lagi. Pok sana. Angkat tangan atas. Putih belakang.
Ingat, mana doktor lagi?
Dah putih belakang. Masuk, Honda.
Duduk. Dari detik yang semedi ya.
Oh, sedang jet. Jadi sini. Ada barang lagi?
Okey, sini maju putih.
Okey. Panggil dia turun. Ada 2 orang. Okey, panggil dia turun. Ada barang tak? Jap.
Hai, turun.
Wei, turun cepat. Turun betul. Baik-baik jaga ya. Jangan salah diri. 2, 4. Ni anak siapa ni? Duduk aja di sini. Anak siapa? Panggil turun.
Lagi mana?
Lagi seorang lagi.
Lagi berapa orang atas? Lagi satu.
Mana tadi? Jap, periksa ke atas tu jap. Okey. Kau tadi orang buat.
Murder involves one individual. Drug trafficking involves the whole nation. If we regard murder as a serious crime, we must regard this widespread slow murder as a more serious crime. We have 200,000 over now who are registered. But we have another 300,000 more, 500,000 people. I mean, these people are literally murdering 500,000 people.
IC number? Laju! Sekarang sama saya. Sini tengok. Apa nama?
A drug trafficker deliberately sets out to murder people eventually. It is a slow death as far as we are concerned. It causes all kinds of problems for the person involved, for the family, for the nation, for the community. And in the end, you find that these people are really dead, walking dead. They are no longer people.
Siapa Jack yang kat tangan? Jack. Kau Jack kat mana?
Satu hari berapa? Satu hari berapa?
Oh, ini tak nampak.
Almost every Malaysian would have somebody who's been made an addict. And I'm not an exception. I know of at least one of my own relatives who have been made a drug addict.
And did that cause a great upset and disturbance in the family?
Yes, I'm better able to understand the feeling of the families of those people who have drug addicts in their family.
Tunggu. Jadilah kena belagak.
They're like zombies. Once they have the need, then they will do almost anything. They are not capable of rational thinking. Imagine people like this populating the nation.
Haris. Oi, ibu tengok anak tu tak boleh cakap lah mati. Doa semayang, minta doa sihat dia, jangan buat lagi. Buat apa kata orang, kehidupan baru ya tak? Tu makcik doakan dia. Lepas semayang. Balik dua semula balik. Makcik doa lepas sembahyang macam tu, minta doa pada Tuhan, apa hajat dapat ke kita sedekah untuk anak kita, alhamdulillah. Haris sayang, makcik cukup sayang dengan dia. Tengok dia tu. Tengok warna macam tu, kesian tengok dia.
I have to stop it sooner or later. The longer I wait, the harder it becomes.
She wants me to stop, but she's not strong enough. I have stopped at my mother's place. Stopped with my mother beside me. I guess she just can't take it. She can't see me sick.
I shouldn't follow the pattern when I want to stop. I shouldn't have the same surrounding, same habit, the same house where I have my stuff.
I would like to go somewhere else. Somewhere new. New place where I don't know even anyone. That's the best.
Far away from where I get my stuff. Far away and no temptation.
A government rehabilitation camp for drug addicts at Pelop in northern Malaysia. The philosophy is tough and rugged. The treatment is compulsory. The emphasis is on discipline. Over 5,000 addicts rounded up in raids throughout the country are confined to rehabilitation barracks for periods of up to 2 years. The aim, to rebuild self-respect, to foster good citizenship and instill habits of hard work. But the government is resigned to watching the vast majority of these young men drift back to lives of squalor and addiction. The rehabilitation centres are the positive face of the government's anti-drugs campaign, a place of last resort. For those who continue further down the road of drugs, the law prescribes a much harsher course.
Tahun 90, Sawaraju anak laki Peraman.
What follows is the punishment required by law for someone found guilty of an offence involving more than 5 grams of heroin.
Sawaraju anak lelaki Karupaya, banduan nombor 1575. Awak telah dihukum oleh Mahkamah Session 3 tahun penjara, 6 kali sebatan rotan. Awak tidak membuat apa-apa rayuan kepada mahkamah maupun lawyer awak maupun waris awak.
Tidak, Tuan.
Sekarang boleh tak 6 uratan dijalankan?
Boleh, Tuan.
Baik. Syukri, jalankan.
Kita menyalakan 6 rotanan. Baik. Kamu dijatuhkan hukuman 6 rotan. Penyebab rotan sedia dengan masa sendiri 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Berhenti.
When I'm sick, if you give me a choice, any choice in the world, I will still have the heroin, even a tube, a small bit. I will have it first because I know I'm all right. I have told my family, I have told my close friends about things like, because I always fail when I stop. I want to stop, I always fail. So I told them, sometimes when I'm sick, even if you put my mom, my wife, my children, and you put a straw there, a tube, while I'm sick, not while I'm well. While I'm sick, okay, if you ask me to choose now, choose either one, I will still take my medicine first. I will still take the heroin first. That's why here they call it ubat. The street language for heroin is ubat. Ubat is medicine. You don't get high on it. You just get cured. Physically, mentally. The stuff is really... It's a monster. If it gets you, it gets you.
And it's had you for 20 years?
20 years. All the time I try to stop, I fail. I never want to give up. Each time I fail, I look for the next.
Pasukan penjual pertama sekarang ni berada di simpang menghala ke arah Delta. Cuba lindung diri awak.
Malik Oscar.
Jalankan.
I am proceeding now to Delta position, over.
Roger, receive.
Okay, any activity lagi you report?
Roger, terima. Untuk makluman you juga, sentri kat arah itu tadi telah patah balik ke tempat penjualan.
Kami nampak.
Kedudukan penjual pertama dan kedua di tempat yang sama, ke depan kedai kopi. Penjual pertama pakai baju kemeja, seluar gelap, pakai kasut warna putih.
Terima.
Penjual kedua pakai baju kuning, t-shirt berbelang biru, memakai seluar jean warna biru.
Roger, you OP you identify semua dia punya Ricky Pati tu?
Satu motosikal pembonceng pakai baju kemeja, topi keledar warna hitam.
Terima.
Sekarang ni berada tempat penjualan kedai kopi bersama dengan kita punya target penjual, wah.
Tunggu.
Baru terima barang.
Okey, dah tahan, apa?
Barang ada tadi.
Barang di mana, apa?
Dia pegang tangan, kita nampak tangan, wah.
OP Bravo, terima.
Oscar OP, sekarang ni penjual baju kuning berada depan kedai kopi. Bagaimana, adakah kita nak tangkap dia, wah?
Roger. Jalankan. Masuk, semua tim go.
Semua masuk, go. Semua tim go.
Oscar sudah tindak, wah.
OP, you bagi kedudukan tak?
Okay, can stop there. Here.
Depan kedai kopi, awak.
Go.
Ni kita ada di depan kedai kopi. Di mana ada barang tu?
Dekat kaki lima.
Okey, Bravo. Ni kita ada satu lagi Tina.
OP Bravo. Ni kita ada di depan kedai kopi. Di mana ada barang tu? Mana you tunjuk. Kita nampak mana you angkat. Barang mana? Ya. Ini simpan mana? Mulut lah. Siapa beli semua siapa? Now this guy, you can see, he was the one, he's a pusher. He was the one that we did with white shoes, black trousers and cream-colored shirt. He was there. We saw him earlier, selling at the first shift. We've got two packets of this. It's heroin number 3. We've got 2 packets similar to the guy that we got there just now. 2 packets. No doubt we have not found any drugs on him.
And if you found something on him, what would happen?
If it is more than 15 grams, then he will be classified under Section 39B, which carries a mandatory death sentence upon conviction.
So if you do find stuff on him, he's going to die?
Yeah, if we find the stuff on him, he's going to die. But at the moment, I'm afraid he hasn't got any stuff on him.
So he's a lucky guy, actually, not to have drugs on him.
He's a damn lucky guy. Together, both the pushers are damn lucky guy because we didn't find any stuff on them.
Yeah.
Otherwise, go to the gallows. God bless them.
Do you want people like him to go to the gallows?
I love to have these people like these guys to go to the gallows because these are the guys who keeps on selling, and every day just like selling hotcakes. In fact, before we conducted the raid here, we did the observation. For the past 2 days, he was selling like hotcakes. Within 1 hour, you can get about 50 people coming. Can you just imagine 50 drug addicts depending on the drugs from his sale all the while? This is the guy who deserves to be hanged. In fact, I would prefer to have a stiffer law. Even these guys, even proven to be pushers, should go to the gallows, not necessarily 39B with in possession of 15 grams. They are just criminals, hardcore criminals, I should say. They deserve to be hanged. Ini bukan 100 ni? Tak dapat jadi. Ha? Ini was 10 gram lah. 10 gram. Ha? 10 gram. 10 gram. We've got this stuff here. What is this? Now this is heroin. You can see the packaging is up to you whether the addict would like to buy in this form or in this form. Yeah. You see, this one is fresh when compared to this one. It's only the coloring that is different. Whereas this one, it costs now, on this particular day when we conduct this operation, it costs $11. It's about 2 grams, 2 grams. Whereas this one is about 10 grams. Now this one will cost on the market now is about $120, just this packet. So this is 10 grams, 20, 30, 40. So with these amounts, it will be enough to put a guy to the gallows because we need only 15 grams after deduction of all the impurities. So if the purity exceeds 15 grams, then we can charge him under Section 39B.
And men die just for that?
Yeah, it's not much, actually. The life seems to be very cheap.
The saluting the flag ceremony at Kajang prison near Kuala Lumpur. 1,000 convicted drug offenders sing the national anthem. They are lesser offenders, sentenced only to floggings and long years of imprisonment. For cases involving more than 200 grams of cannabis or 15 grams of heroin, the death sentence is mandatory.
Nobody likes to pass a death sentence. Nobody likes to terminate anybody's life, no matter what crimes they commit. Left to themselves, most judges apparently would not pass the death sentence. So if we want the law to be effective and to really prevent people from getting involved in drug trafficking, we must make sure that the death sentence is passed. The matter is so serious, a death penalty, that it should not be left to the whims and fancies of any particular judge. It is grossly unfair if somebody gets a lenient judge and another person gets a hanging judge. There should be no exception. It is better that the sentence be uniform for everyone once they are found guilty.
My name is Wong Yi Xian. I was sentenced in the section of 39B in the Dangerous Drug Act. I've been here for around 14 months and I've seen 11 executions. Seen, I haven't seen, but I have heard because the execution room was separated from us. So they will come in the early morning at around 8 and they will drag them out, have a last jumpa, last visit with their family, and then they will be executed in the early morning, dawn at around 6 or 5:55. So I think the law is a bit harsh on us. But if the police can catch the big bosses, yeah, they deserve to die. Because they are the culprit who's doing all this. Not the small fries. If without them, without us.
So you're a small fry in a big trap.
Yeah. I got the knowledge that they are doing on a small scale. But when we was caught, when the police found up in the ceiling 11 kilos of ganja, I got stunned. I nearly fainted. But I don't know. At that time, I also don't know what to do. I've already told the police, it is not mine. I came here to visit a friend. But the police doesn't believe me. And I was charged in court.
Now you're sentenced to death.
And now I'm here in the death row, sentenced to death.
Everybody now knows in the country that heroin is their enemy number one. So I'm sort of their enemy number one now. Public enemy number one. If I'm caught with enough stuff to be hanged, then they are not interested in anything. All they want me to do is to prove myself right. That's all they are interested. As long as I can't prove myself right, then off you go. Then I'll be hanged. Many people that I know buy stuff enough to be hanged. Not pushing, Pushing is, yeah. Hanging traffickers, I agree. Hang the real one. The cookies, the one who's working in the lab. The one who's doing big time.
You think they're hanging people like you?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. The amount sometimes you read in the papers so little. I mean, people like me should know the amount. That amount is just that because, like for example, in KL, a packet. I can fill it into one 2.5 straws. You know, the drinking straws. Whereas in Penang, we can get it for 4.5 straws. That is in Penang. In fact, the price is cheaper even. Maybe around $90, $80 a packet. So if I go to Penang, if I have about say $300-400, I buy say 3-4 packets, then it's enough to put me to the 39B. Whereas I'm only buying for my stuff. Or maybe I push. Yes, I push. This is just among my friends. Am I a trafficker that way? Rather than my friends being caught going out searching for that stuff, he might as well buy it from me. Get it from. I mean, maybe I want that money to maybe to have special food that I need, or maybe I want to buy change my clothes. That's all. It's not to buy me a bungalow, not buy me a Mercedes to drive around the phone in a car. No. Then they hang people like me. No.
Siapa? Yo. Mari bro.
My name is Rajkumar. I was arrested in 26 June 1987. I want to pray to God, to talk to Him. Why I get the death sentence? How? I'm innocent, you know that. I got nothing in this case. I got never involved in this. So how I can get this sentence? Why? What I'm doing to you? Why you punish me like this? Why I must suffer like this? Did I do any sins? Nothing. I never do anything to anybody. See? Why? So I pray to Him. Let Him understand. That's why I'm praying. I'm innocent. For me, it's unfair. The death sentence is very unfair. Yes, I'm suffering. Really, I'm suffering. Because your mind in your heart thinking about the death sentence only. When they're going to hang me. See? Think of that. How they're going to hang me. How they're going to take me. How my family going to stand. All this. I'm thinking about future, is it? I don't think of past. Sometimes I think of future. What's going to happen? How long I must stay here? How long I have to suffer here? I know when. I don't know when the time will come. When they're going to hang me. I'm only thinking when I'm going to die. They're killing me. I'm dying slowly now. They're killing me. It's killing me.
That? Yeah. Terrible. As good as bad. Half human, yeah. It's true. I will try and try and try. I know one day I'll kick off the habit.
147 people have already been hanged in Malaysia for drug crimes. Yet every year, the arrests and the death sentences increase. Since 1983, over 4,000 people have been arrested on 39B charges, 800 last year alone. Most are still awaiting trial, but it's already clear that if present trends continue, over 1,000 people already arrested face execution in the next few years.
That has to be, it has to be. it is not fair on the people who have already been hanged to say that, well, since the number has increased, then we shouldn't hang them. What happened to those who have already been hanged? They would wish that if they had been given time, the numbers had increased, then they would, their relatives, for example, would feel that they would not be so unfortunate. The law does not say that if the numbers are big, then we should not really carry out. We have to carry out this death penalty. It is unfortunate, but people must learn that they're committing a crime that will lead to the death penalty, and they should not commit the crime.
But why don't you give some of these people a second chance? What about the idea of mercy?
Right. Mercy, I think, should be exercised by the Pardons Board. That's what the Pardons Board is for. And all cases of death sentence must go to a Pardons Board, whether there is a request for a Pardons Board or not. So there is yet another stage where the element of mercy can be brought in.
But since 1983, can you remember a single case in which the Pardons Board has commuted a death sentence?
I am not very sure, but I am sure there must be some cases where there has been, the Pardons Board has decided to commute the sentence.
According to the statistics that have been given to us, there is not a single case in a 39B matter where the sentence has been commuted by the Pardons Board.
Well, that's probably because the Pardons Board felt that there is no case for commuting the sentence.
Awak Muhammad Ali bin Awak.
Ya,
dan
Tuan.
nombor banduan KJ 700-86 DA. Betul.
Betul, Tuan.
Sebagaimana yang awak ketahui, bahawa Mahkamah Tinggi Pulau Pinang telah menjatuhkan hukuman mati terhadap awak di bawah Seksyen 39B Akta Dadah Berbahaya. Dan rayuan awak telah ditolak. Betul.
Betul, Tuan.
Dengan ini, Muhammad Ali bin Awak, saya diarah untuk melaksanakan hukuman mati terhadap awak bertempat di penjara pusat Selangor Kajang pada 25 hari bulan Januari tahun 1991 di antara jam 5.30 pagi hingga 6.30 pagi, iaitu pada pagi besok. Awak faham?
Faham, Tuan.
Jadi, ada apa-apa permintaan yang awak perlu sebagaimana yang diperuntukkan di bawah peraturan penjara?
Saya bermohon kepada Tuan untuk berjumpa dengan keluarga saya yang terdekat bagi kali terakhir.
Urusan perjumpaan ini telah pun diaturkan. Telah pun kita menulis surat kepada keluarga awak dan saya percaya keluarga awak akan hadir pada hari ini untuk tujuan perjumpaan terakhir. Ada apa-apa lagi?
Tak ada apa, Tuan.
Jadi faham semua, eh?
Faham, Tuan.
Dan Cik Majid,
Tuan.
sila urus timbang, ukur badan dan sebagainya.
On January the 25th, 1991, a man was hanged in Malaysia. Not this man. What you are watching is a demonstration by the Malaysian authorities that they still work exactly by the book.
Cik Mansur, 130. 130.
The measurements are in pounds and ounces, feet and inches.
5 kaki 5 inci. 5 kaki 5 inci. Okey, Sarjan, pasang garis balik.
This is exactly as prescribed in the book from the Crown Commissioners, left behind by the British at independence, and from which, on questions of hanging, the Malaysians have not deviated to this day.
Are you afraid?
Yes, I'm afraid. But what to do? I'm here now, so I'm praying to God that I might win my appeal, that I can go out from here, if I'm lucky.
Do you have a lot of hope, or what do you see around you? Does that give you hope?
I don't know. I think the TVP have fabricated a good story against me. I stand a very slim chance of winning. But I hope that will be a technical error on the judge side. Because as we have known, if there's a slight technical error during your appeal in the Supreme Court, if you got a good counsel to fight for you, yeah, you can be out. You can regain your freedom back.
It's about 30 hours now since I had my last heroin.
It's a long time.
Yeah, it's a long time. Very long time. More than that now, I guess. About a day and a half now.
People say that it's impossible for somebody like you to give up.
I don't believe. They say that. I don't want to take it. They say it's especially these people who say that are not the people who are sick. They are not the junkies. They are normal people.
But they've watched junkies. They've
watched. Like watching movies, watching TV. Just watch. You don't feel it.
But what is it that you're fighting for? What kind of a life do you want?
Just a normal life, just to live like anybody else. Of course, everybody wants to lead a better life. But I just want to live.
During that time, during that night, the tension will be high. It's very sad when the execution comes, because some of them, really, they are not big time. They are just helpers, just trying to earn a few bucks. That's all. But bad luck on them, they were caught with the drugs on them. So the sentence is this: death by hanging, because the 39B law stated that even if you got knowledge, possession, trafficking, all that they will sentence you to death by hanging.
Yeah, well, the first time I sat on the pardons board, we had to confirm a death sentence. It was really a devastating thing. I mean, you cannot sleep. To think that you have actually ended somebody else's life, and then on the night he is to be hanged, you will really become completely restless. I mean, it is happening. You know it is going to happen in the morning. I don't feel as badly now because I'm convinced that it was the right thing to do. But still, I feel terrible about having to take someone else's life.
Usually that night will be very quiet. The most of us will keep to ourselves. We try to sleep early in the morning at around 5, just to keep away from hearing the echo of the execution, because the trapdoor, when it opens, there's a very loud noise. It will vibrate, the whole building will vibrate. So I think it's a very eerie feeling, you know. Because we are here, to be realistic, one of these days it might be us.
There were times when I tried to put myself in the place of a person who is about to be hanged, how he would feel. I sometimes have morbid visions of people being guillotined, for example. How does one go to the guillotine and gets one's head chopped off? It's terrifying. I'm quite sure the people who are sentenced to death would have to think about that. And people who are not yet sentenced to death, or who have not yet committed the crime, should also think of that.
I mean, we have been face to face with people who are going to be executed very soon, and it's very hard to be in the presence of such a person. I mean, if you had stood where I have stood on death row in Kajang for days and days at a time, and people have looked at you and said, well, why can't I have a second chance? What would you have told them? I mean, young boys, what would you have told them?
I don't know. I don't know what to say. I have met their relatives. That's all I can say, that they have committed a crime. If there is anything that can be done, it will be done to save them. But if there is nothing, that's it.
I had it. I can't take it anymore. And I want to leave. I don't want to be a junkie all my life. I want to live.